At 11 p.m. on a Thursday night, a FedEx parking lot in Indianapolis looked like any other shift change. Workers clocking out, workers clocking in, the hum of everyday life. Then the shots started. And by the time police arrived, less than 4 minutes later, 8 people were dead. The gunman was already gone too, by his own hand. But here's what made this case haunt investigators, lawmakers, and an entire community for years to come. They had seen this coming. And they did nothing.
Kodix.
Indianapolis, Indiana, April 15th, 2021. The FedEx Ground facility near Indianapolis International Airport runs around the clock. On any given night shift, nearly 100 employees move through its doors, scanning their badges, passing through metal detectors, going about their work. That night, approximately 90% of the workforce were members of Indianapolis's Sikh community, immigrants and their families who had built their lives around steady, honest work at this facility. People like Amarjit Johal, 66, Jasvinder Kaur, 50, Jaswinder Singh, 68, and John Weisert, 74, is the oldest victim, a man who had spent decades showing up for work. Alongside them, Samaria Blackwell and Karli Smith, both just 19 years old. Kids, really, standing at the very beginning of their lives. None of them would go home that night. The man who came for them was Brandon Scott Hole, 19 years old, a former FedEx employee who had been fired from this very facility just months before for absenteeism. He arrived that night not as a co-worker coming back to say hello. He arrived with 2 AR-15 style rifles and a plan he had been building toward for a long time. The night of the shooting, Hole first walked into the building calmly, reportedly, to speak with security. Then he walked back out to his car. What happened in those few seconds between parking lot and vehicle, we don't know. What we do know is what came next. He got back out of that car with a rifle. He opened fire on employees in the parking lot. He moved toward the building's entrance, firing continuously. A full-height turnstile blocked him from going deeper inside. So he fired through it at the people on the other side. One employee managed to fire back with a handgun. The shot missed. Witnesses reported hearing Hole shouting, but his words were unclear over the chaos. Inside the building, employees desperately needed to call for help, but FedEx's strict no-phone policy, which prohibited workers from bringing personal cell phones onto the floor, meant many had no way to reach 911. They were trapped, cut off, and in the dark. The entire attack lasted less than 4 minutes. Hole re-entered the building and shot himself. When police arrived moments after 11 p.m., he was already dead. Beside him, 2 rifles. 8 innocent people were gone. The warning signs. Nobody acted on. Here is where this story takes a turn that will make your stomach drop. Brandon Hole had not come out of nowhere. His father had died by suicide in 2004. From 4th grade onward, Hole had been diagnosed with disruptive behavior disorder, anxiety disorder, and autism spectrum disorder. At just 11 years old, he was arrested for physically attacking his mother. There were police calls to the home. He couldn't finish school. Then came March 2020, 14 months before the massacre. Hole's own mother called authorities. She told them her son was planning to suicide by cop. He had just bought a .410 Mossberg 500 pump-action shotgun. Police responded, took Hole to the hospital, and seized the shotgun. An officer also noted something chilling on Hole's computer screen: white supremacist websites. Hole was placed on a mental health hold. He was released in under 2 hours. The FBI questioned him the following month about the websites. The investigation was closed. Insufficient evidence of criminal violation. And then, this is the part that defies belief, Indiana's red flag law was never fully invoked. That law was specifically designed for situations like this. It could have prevented Hole from purchasing any firearm for at least 6 months after his detainment. But Marion County prosecutors never scheduled the required hearing within the mandated 14 days after the shotgun seizure. Their reasoning? The family didn't want the shotgun back, so they considered the matter resolved. In July 2020, Hole legally purchased his first AR-15 style rifle from a licensed gun store.
How much for that one?
That model is $949.
And warranty?
1 year full coverage.
In September 2020, he bought a second one. In October 2020, he was fired from FedEx. In April 2021, he came back. Less than an hour before the shooting, Hole posted to Facebook,
I hope that I can be with Applejack in the afterlife. My life has no meaning without her.
A farewell note, hidden in plain sight, posted to an account that would be deleted, and only found after the bodies had already been counted. The FBI's conclusion was stark. The shooting was an act of suicidal murder, a final act of violence driven by a desire to feel powerful and to fulfill what investigators described as a wish to experience killing. 8 names, 8 families, 8 futures extinguished in under 4 minutes. Matthew Alexander, 32. Samaria Blackwell, 19. Amarjit Johal, 66. Jasvinder Kaur, 50. Amarjit Sekhon, 48. Jaswinder Singh, 68. Karli Smith, 19. John Weisert, 74. The Sikh community, already reeling, called for an investigation into whether bias had played a role, given Hole's history of browsing white supremacist content. That question was never definitively answered. President Biden ordered flags to half-staff. Governor Holcomb announced restored mental health funding. Candlelight vigils drew hundreds. FedEx contributed $1 million to a victims fund. In 2023, families filed a lawsuit against the manufacturer of the 60-round high-capacity magazine used in the attack. But the harder questions remained unanswered. A red flag law existed. It was not used. A man purchased 2 military-style rifles legally, after his own mother had warned police he was dangerous. A no-phone policy may have cost precious minutes that could have saved lives. The deadliest mass shooting in Indiana history did not happen because the system lacked the tools to prevent it. It happened because the people responsible for using those tools believed the job was already done. It wasn't. 8 trees were planted at Arsenal Park in Indianapolis on April 23, 2022. 1 for each victim. They stand there today, quietly growing, in a city still learning to live with what it lost. We covered a similar story where people in power had the chance to act during the right time but chose not to. Click on this video right here to check it out.